You are listening to Pharmacy IT and Me, your informatics pharmacist podcast. Hey everyone, this is Tony Dow and welcome to another episode of Pharmacy IT and Me. As with every episode, we start off this one stating that the intended audience for this episode are newcomers to pharmacy informatics. So we discussed the topic of change management to some good detail in the past week, and we're on the final step in change management. This is the portion that is involved with continuously monitoring a project after the change has been implemented. In a way, it makes sense, right? So when you make a change in the system, it's not like you suddenly disappear and work on something else once everything's been implemented, right? You'll need to have some sort of monitoring strategy to ensure that the change is successful. So continuous monitoring begins with goal setting, because if you don't have any goals, then what are you monitoring? I'm not going to be going over too much of the details of the acronym of SMART goals again, but basically you need to have goals that have enough detail for you to monitor. The other thing to also be aware is that you'll need to set expectations so you know what to monitor. After a change has been implemented, you would need to monitor whether these changes have met the goals and also met the expectations. So one of the major challenges up front, however, is setting what those expectations are. There may be difficulty in achieving consensus and what these priorities are and what the main expectations are, but one of the ways to face this is to ensure that all of the stakeholders are engaged when this decision is being made. If you can set up a few meetings where, all the stakeholders are in the same room and where it can be clear what this new change will and will not do, it will help ease the process in determining what the expectations should be, and therefore it helps with establishing a clearer definition of what those expectations are. So going back to the goals, always remember to set your goals as not being overly aggressive. So they're important, but don't do it as overly aggressive. Some of the challenges for setting goals is that sometimes an institution is too ambitious. So you can't change the world in one day. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Keep that in mind. Set achievable goals that you can track and monitor for progress. And in addition, always have a backup plan for that goal. Be aware, there may be a glitch in the system that will affect what that goal is supposed to be, and be aware that it may not be the process of change that actually causes the goal not to be met. I can't stress enough how important it is to have goal overviews before the change process occurs, because sometimes when an institution dives headfirst into a new change without proper goal assessment, the continuous monitoring portion becomes a mess because nobody ends up knowing what they're monitoring. Nobody knows what the goals are, and it's like you're trying to find these out and you're finding it out as it goes. So one more thing about continuously monitoring is that you have to keep in mind that this is the long game and there's a lot of patience that will be needed. Some of the goals and some of the benefits will not be very apparent until after a while of using whatever the new change is. For example, if you are doing a change where you change clinical alerts to alert less, you aren't going to see an immediate change in terms of user satisfaction. You may have a small change, but it will be better over a longer period of time. In that particular case, it takes a while for someone to realize the change in the system since they have been so used to bypassing and blowing through all the alerts before the change due to alert fatigue. Another example would be, implementing a brand new EHR. One of the goals could be reducing the number of reported errors after the implementation of a new EHR. And the number of errors might actually increase rather than decrease, but they will decrease over time as people start to get used to using that system better. So in terms of continuous monitoring, that's why it's continuous. Some of the goals and benefits just won't be realized until a lot later. So we are done with the actual change strategies and steps, and next time we come back to the educational episodes, we'll be going over a different topic. I haven't decided yet, but I hope it will be as educational for you as it was for this one. Alright, if you guys like this episode, you can subscribe and rate us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or any of your other favorite podcasting services. You can also follow us on social media on Twitter or Facebook at PharmacyITme, or Instagram at Pharmacy Informatics, or by emailing me at tony@pharmacyitme.com. And I also wanted to plug a great networking opportunity called Pharmacist Connect. If you are familiar with Microsoft Teams or Slack Workspace, think of Pharmacist Connect as a large vetted one through Slack Workspaces. I've met some great colleagues on it, and there's even an informatics space within it as well. You can find out more by visiting pharmacistconnect.com, which is PharmacistConnect.com. Thank you again for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode of Pharmacy ITme. And remember, technology is the tool, patient care is the goal.